The sun also rises for Julian. Julian was a dedicated night owl. For years, he used to stay awake until 3 in the morning, reading thick novels or watching old movies by the light of a small lamp. He loved the silence of the night, when the rest of the world was fast asleep. He never imagined that his lifestyle would ever need to change. However, a new job required a big change. Julian had to prepare for a major business trip across the ocean. He packed his cabin suitcase with all his essential stuff, feeling nervous about the journey. He was not used to being an early bird, but his flight was scheduled for dawn, and he had a very busy week ahead of him. The journey was exhausting. After a long flight and a 4-hour stopover in a crowded airport, Julian finally reached his destination. He felt dizzy from the jet lag, and his stomach felt tight and uncomfortable. He just wanted to find a bed and sleep for 20 hours, but it was only 10 in the morning in this new city. Julian decided to walk to his hotel to wake himself up. Suddenly, it started to rain. He stepped right into a deep, muddy puddle, ruining his expensive leather shoes. He sighed, wishing he had packed his yellow wellies instead of leaving them at home. Everything felt difficult and unfamiliar in this gray, wet place. When he arrived at the hotel, Julian searched his pockets for a receipt he needed for his travel expenses. Instead, he found a crumpled piece of paper with a recipe for chocolate cake his mother had given him. He realized he needed to find out where he had put his important documents before the meeting started. His hotel room was small but tidy. Julian tried to lift his heavy cabin suitcase onto a high shelf, using a wooden ladder he found in the closet. His arms felt weak from the long trip, and he struggled to balance the bag. He realized that traveling was much harder when you were not used to the rhythm of the day. The next morning, Julian met his new colleague, Elena. She was a natural early bird who had already been awake for 3 hours. Elena was used to the brisk morning air and moved with a lot of energy. She greeted Julian with a bright smile and a cup of hot coffee, hoping to help him start his day. Elena took him for a walk through a nearby park before their first meeting. As they walked, Julian noticed a gardener using a broom and a rake to clear fallen leaves from the path. Nearby, a man was exercising with a heavy kettlebell. Julian began to observe his beautiful surroundings and felt the fresh air clearing his head. "It takes time, but you will get used to the early mornings," Elena said as they passed a local hairdresser opening her shop for the day. Julian noticed the smell of fresh bread from a bakery and the sound of birds singing in the trees. For the first time in years, he felt like he was seeing the world begin. By the end of his trip, Julian realized he didn't miss the midnight movies as much as he expected. He was finally getting used to the morning light and the quiet energy of the sunrise. He found out that being an early bird had its own magic, and he was ready to bring this new habit back home with him.